Welcome to the Absite Smackdown podcast. We'll talk clinical scenarios, interesting Absite facts, and interesting general surgery knowledge. Now, let's get to it.
Well, welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're going to do something that you've seen us do before on the podcast, and that is share a section directly from our review book. The Project Smackdown team and I felt that this information is particularly useful, especially for first and early year residents as they go to take the Absite this January or early February, depending on when your program gives it. This lecture is very personal for me because this is the one that I really wish I had before the first time I took the Absite. So we're going to share that with you today, and before we do, let me tell you just a few things. First, this is a lecture directly from the course. As you probably know, we are revamping the course now, and this is one of the earliest lectures in that series. This is based on Absite Smackdown version 2.0 and Absite Smackdown version 3.0, which is coming soon. Absite Smackdown v 2.0 is available at absitesmackdown.com along with the course, and you can also get that on Amazon. Recently, and really very exciting to me, the team released the Absite Smackdown coloring book. And this is in response to what you all in the community have told us, and we're really excited about it. We took more than 30 high-yield images and adapted them and added them into the book, and we're just so excited to see it finally happen. So that released on Amazon. Go on over there, get yourself a copy, leave a review if you liked it, and just can't say enough about how excited we are. So what comes after this is the first main lecture from the Absite Smackdown review course, and it's all about facts for the Absite. So with that, I hope you enjoy this free content, and now, like we say, let's get to it.
Hey guys, it's me, your host, Jessica, for Absite Smackdown Podcast. Do you want more content? Then go to our website, www.absitesmackdown.com, for links to all of our social media, our blogs, and our podcast.
Hi, welcome back to the Absite Smackdown review course. My name is David Cashmere. I'll continue hosting you all the way through. And today, let's talk about key facts about the Absite. If you are experienced in the Absite, odds are you know many of these already. But I think this lecture will assist you in learning some of the maybe more minor points that you didn't know, but sure can be useful for the test. And for our intern colleagues out there, all those PGY1s, my hope is this will help you early on, and it's something I could have used when I started off as an intern. So, for the talk that I never had but wish I did, let's go. Once upon a time, the Absite was administered on paper, and then things changed. To recognize the differences between senior and junior residents, the American Board of Surgery, that's the group that administers, by the way, the Absite. Absite is the American Board of Surgery In-Service Training Exam, sometimes called the American Board of Surgery In-Training Exam. Either way, the ABS created a version of the test for each level. There was a junior and a senior exam. And then, in approximately 2014, the Absite returned to a single test format. All surgery residents now take one version of the test on a computer in a single 5-hour block. Now, there are approximately 250 multiple choice questions. It's administered in January, late January, about the 28th, into early February. Your program has some leeway owing to availability of conference rooms, computers, and things like that. So anywhere from around the 28th to the beginning of February. You receive your results in March, but often your program receives results much earlier and can share them with you, often February. Now, the Absite is not required for eventual board certification in surgery, but like it says on the slide, I've never seen or heard of an accredited residency program that didn't use the Absite every single year. In fact, residency programs have to order the Absite from the ABS. The residency programs are responsible for administering the test to the residents. Now, if you have questions after the test, like what's my score, what was this issue, the American Board of Surgery is not going to answer you. they don't send any information directly to the test taker. They only release it to the residency. Everything must come from your program.
The Absite Smackdown Podcast, bringing you the best for your Absite review.
Your program, again, shares your score report with you in March or later. The ABS looks for certain testing irregularities, and if they feel that something's amiss, they're going to request an investigation by your program director. Your program director will choose disciplinary action based on what they find, if anything. In short, your program can be severely penalized. The ABS can go above and beyond your program director, and often does. It will take their recommendations and look at them and often extend them or make changes or additions. So this slide is to remind us about gambling. Be careful. Don't cheat. Just play the game fairly. Let it be a test of what you've learned, hopefully from this course and any other materials you choose to use. You can't share questions from the Absite with anyone without violating the American Board of Surgery Ethics and Professionalism Policy. Don't share questions. Don't share them across time zones. Don't help your buddies across the country. I know we all want to be helpful, especially to our friends, but again, the American Board of Surgery looks for testing irregularities. If it finds them, you're going to get in trouble. And even if you weren't going to get in trouble, the right thing to do is play the game straight. Now, here's an important information page all about the Absite. This link will take you right to Absite info put out by the American Board of Surgery. It includes a lot of information about test length, practice test. It takes you to the ABS info page, and it's a good idea to look at that before you start studying facts that will be tested on the Absite itself. They have an entire page that lists in PDF form how many questions or what percentage of the test comes from each section. Now, if these web pages move, don't worry. The links that we have here, they're referral links. If you click on one of those, we'll make sure it gets directed to where it needs to go. As of last check, this link is current and active and takes you right to the right page. So that's a link directly to the Absite content sheet from the American Board of Surgery, and it shares some important facts about current Absite content, including the fact that the Absite follows the Surgical Council on Resident Education, or SCORE curriculum. Now, SCORE curriculum is designed to go throughout an entire residency, so 5 years of clinical work. That's part of why review books are useful. They help you compress, or at least have seen, a lot of the SCORE curriculum type facts, not the exact SCORE curriculum. It lets you see the facts that are commonly tested on the Absite, and those things that you can pick up more quickly than having to go through the full 5-year curriculum. That's one reason review books are useful, not the only one, and we make no claim that this is a replacement for SCORE curriculum or your textbooks. It's not. No review book is. However, this will help you to perform your best, jog your memory, and review things you already know in preparation for the exam. It'll teach you some new things. But we're not here to replace the SCORE curriculum, and we are not here to replace those standard textbooks of surgery that are so important. Now, that said, 80% of the Absite focuses on clinical management topics, and about 20% covers applied science. That used to be called the, quote, basic science, unquote, topics. 72% of the questions concern SCORE patient care topics. Again, these are spread over 5 years typically, and 24% are SCORE medical knowledge topics. 4% are other topics. That content sheet that we posted the link to even shares specific categories and how much they're focused on in the test. And you can find that. Here's a top tip. Look at the PDF. Here's the PDF link. Once you've looked at that previous link and the relevant information, including the weighting, visit this link on the SCORE curriculum. We have it listed there as a referral link to the ABS outline to the SCORE curriculum. So now, once you've looked at all those links, you've looked at what the Absite is, you've looked at what it covers, you looked at how it's weighted, and you looked what each content area means. Now, before we get into the specifics about what's tested, it's worthwhile to get to know how the test interface works on the computer. If you've never seen it, or if you've seen it once a year, this may be really worthwhile for you. There's a practice test interface for you, and that's at this link, Absite Practice. You can go there and it will show you how that interface works, how it looks, how to mark questions for later review. It's worthwhile, so you're not discovering it on the day of the test. The piano photo? Oh, sure. That's there to kind of remind us that practice with the interface makes perfect, so that on the test day, you're not having to pull some incredible move to even get to figure out how the test works, where the timer is. You can do this stuff, and it's amazing, but if you're just doing it for the first time, it's a heck of an ask. So doing things ahead of time and getting used to the interface is really worthwhile. Okay. Now that you know how the test looks, you know it's covered, you know typically how long the test is, just remember, again, review books are great, especially when you don't have time or the ability to review a complete book or a complete work. But they are review books. There's no review book that contains every single thing you're going to want to know. God knows we tried when we made Absite Smackdown, but every review book that you look at does not have every single thing that you may need to know. And the SCORE curriculum is fantastic. The challenge is it's spread over several years, and that's part of why review books sure are useful. So review books and courses like this don't substitute for things like the full SCORE curriculum, but they sure will help you. Working and studying over time promotes long-term retention. We all know that. Our time is really scarce, and having a condensed version of the material we know, it's really helpful. At Absite Smackdown, the Project Smackdown team has tried to blend in ways to study on a daily basis, ways that are kind of in the middle of things you're doing anyway. So the Insta feed with photos, the Facebook feed, the Absite Smackdown podcast, those all give you ways to review facts that do not require you to sit down with a book, because sometimes you just can't sit down with a book, even if you want to. Now let's get some facts about whether the Absite predicts eventual success on passing your board exam. That's our next talk up.
The Absite Smackdown podcast is based on the best-selling review book, Absite Smackdown, the only Absite review with an entire video review course included. Visit absitesmackdown.com and pick it up today.
So today, we've gone through that the Absite is now one test version that's given to all PGY levels. We focused on how the Absite follows the SCORE curriculum. We've focused on the fact that the Absite's administered by each residency program as a single 5-hour block in late January or early February. And approximately 250 multiple choice questions are on the test. Some of them are practice questions they're floating out there to see how they do and perform. It can be very hard to figure out which those are, and so probably not as important to try to sort out which are the practice questions. Remember, our advice, don't cheat on the test. It prevents the test from functioning as an indicator of what you know. Now, originally, the Absite was designed to be a referendum on your program and how your program prepared you to be a autonomous, functioning, well-disciplined surgeon. And it still does that to a great degree. But more and more, it's become a referendum on how you've studied, how you've prepared, and what you know. So if you do share questions and violate the ABS ethics policy, if you do somehow do something that is not sanctioned as you sit to take your test, in terms of cheating to perform better on the test, the ABS looks for regularities. We talked about the pathway and what would happen after. Recommendation is don't do it. Remember, review books like this one don't substitute for things like the full SCORE curriculum, but the full SCORE curriculum is spread out over several years. There's a certain usefulness about having a review course that you don't have to travel for, that's right in front of you, that hits the important review facts, and that's what we designed this to do. So the Insta feed, the podcast, all these different things to help you review in different ways, and again, we try to keep most of it free. We thank you for helping build the community by purchasing the book and course, and again, share that the SCORE curriculum really is a valuable thing. Remember, Absite Smackdown will help you, but it doesn't substitute for working consistently over time to master surgical content. Nothing does. These links are useful to teach you what content will be tested and how it lines up with SCORE, the specifics about what SCORE is for each section, and how the computer testing interface looks and feels. So we've listed those here: Absite Info, Absite Content, ABS Outline, and Absite Practice. For more info, there's that InstaFeed. It's at daily.absite.fact. On Facebook, you can find us at Absite Smackdown, and on Twitter, at Absite Smackdown. LinkedIn, same thing, at Absite Smackdown. And on YouTube, we're the Absite Smackdown channel, where we share video podcasts. The Absite Smackdown audio, the Absite Smackdown original podcast, is on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Amazon, and many others. With that, thanks so much for your time today. And now, let's get to the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Absite Smackdown podcast. Visit us at absitesmackdown.com for more great Absite facts.